Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on PrizePicks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the PrizePicks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/BlueWire and use code BlueWire. That's code BlueWire at prizepicks.com/BlueWire for a first deposit match of up to $100. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Support for this podcast comes from Frito-Lay and the 2023 Snack Bracket Championship. The Frito-Lay Snack-A Challenge is underway, and fans are voting on their favorite snacks to crown champion. We're talking about prime-time matchups between the best 64 snacks in the land. Will Ruffles Ridges reign supreme? Can Doritos defend their dynasty? Or will Smart Food use their smarts for a surprise upset? Only you can decide. Get in on all the action for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks. Let your snacks be heard. Just go to fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com to vote and enter for a chance to win. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends April 3rd, 2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for 1 bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com.
Hello, friends. Welcome to another Mavs Moneyball group therapy. I'm Kirk Henderson, and editor-in-chief of MavsMoneyball.com. Thanks so much for joining me this evening. Starting a little earlier than usual, Josh is taking over all the post-game stuff, and I wanted to get going here because I have to drive to Texas A&M at 4:30 tomorrow morning. Well, here we are. The Dallas Mavericks fell to the Cleveland Cavaliers. This was as interesting of a game as any. If you're looking at the difference between what a top of a conference team looks like in terms of depth and talent versus the Mavericks, who, when missing 2 of their key rotation players, simply can't field enough guys to be a decent basketball team. The Mavericks came out looking a little sloppy, tired. Luka was kind of a mess. In fact, Luka probably played his most petulant game that I can remember, and he kind of got it together in the second half, but he was eyeballing people. He was pouting. He was missing shots that he should have made. And there was just a lot of feelings. And where you fall on that feeling spectrum kind of becomes one of these things where it depends on, it's like a chicken or the egg. Like, are you mad at Luka because he's not being a better leader, or are you mad at the Mavericks for not making a better basketball team? Bottom line is, it's none of our fault. It's nothing we did as fans. And picking a side is kind of stupid because everybody just sort of needs to get together and figure out how to make this thing work. It's very annoying because the discourse becomes of, well, you don't believe in such and such player. Like I made a tweet that I've just kind of grown tired by the Christian Wood experience. Not because I necessarily think Wood is bad per se. It's that Wood is not the player the Mavericks need. And that has become evident to me. Even when he plays a good statistical game, the Mavericks don't really look any better for it. They do need to be playing him with Luka more. I don't understand why they're not, but there's just elements of where this has gone to where I find myself very, very tired. They've gotten away a couple of games with playing a starting group of Dorian, Tim, Powell, Spencer, Luka. Hardaway, Spencer, Luka none of those 3 can guard. Luka might try a little more, but he's still got a ways to go before he's going anywhere defensively. So it's just the Mavericks are basically asking to get picked apart. Unless Hardaway's shooting a flamethrower, then it doesn't matter. And he was 1 of 5 tonight, and not very good. Dorian was once again not particularly good. You can kind of go through the whole list and see. We have Frank Ntilikina was one of the first guys off the bench. He is 5 of 24 from the floor this year. That sucks. He's just not a decent basketball. He's not an offensive basketball player. The nice part, Reggie Bullock hit a few shots again. Looks nice. We're coming right into form. So, all right, I'm done babbling. Let's come yell at me. Tell me why my takes suck. I'm looking forward to hear from you. All right, coming up first, we're going to bring on my friend Brandon. Been a while, Brandon. What's up, buddy? Give him a second.
I'm sorry, Kirk. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. What's up?
Alrighty. Sorry, it's been a while since I've been on.
I know. Welcome back.
I've been very busy at work. This is actually the first game I did not get to watch most of it. From your description, it sounds like, just as I expected, the Mavericks, without Maxey and Josh, did not defend very well. So my question to you, because the Mavericks seem to be loading all of their assets for this summer when they can finally trade all of their picks again, or most of their picks, for quote-unquote superstar. Should they just ditch that plan and try to break up the 3 or 4 first-round picks that they can possibly trade to get good basketball players instead of one possibly, malfunction star, maybe a Zach LaVine coming off 4 knee surgeries? I'm very frustrated to see.
Well, and that's why I wrote a piece after about 12 games that said there's no help coming. Not only do I think that they have to wait until this summer because of the protections on the Knicks pick, they would have to lift the protections, and it's top 10 protected right now. I don't know about you. I don't feel good enough to want to lift those protections. I really don't. I don't think any trade that happens this year doesn't necessarily move the needle because they'd be trading a 2024 pick at the earliest. And if they get out from under this pick that they owe to the Knicks, they could trade next year's pick. Almost like they can do that immediately. If they were to trade, right now, legally, the first pick that they could trade is the 2024 pick, just because of the way that sort of thing works. So you also asked kind of an interesting question in the sense of, should they pursue a star? Or should they just try to make the team better with what they're doing? Like more guys. I have no problem with either approach. I want the team to be better. I'm tired. Go look at the top 10 Mavericks played of all time. Dorian Finney-Smith and Dwight Powell are going to be on that list. Top 10 all-time games played for the Dallas Mavericks. Dwight Powell and Dorian Finney-Smith are going to be in the top 10. That should be wild to everyone involved. I like Dwight. I've grown to love him, really. But come on, what are we doing? There's some silliness involved. But it's, we talk about this almost every show. And that's what, it kind of came out again tonight. I mean, so if you didn't see what happened, the Mavs played an awful first half. The third quarter, they really rallied. And then the team just barfed on themselves at the end with a bad Tim turnover, a bad call by the refs, resulting in a missed travel flop that ended up being an and one favoring the Cavs. And then Jason Kidd didn't realize he only had 4 players out on the floor. Truly spectacular. Just and that resulted in a technical foul, which I didn't know was a thing. I have never seen an NBA game with a technical foul from 4 players on the floor. If that's not emblematic of why I take issue with Jason Kidd's pocket pool coaching, I don't know what will.
So again, this is the first game I have not watched the vast majority of.
Sure.
And none of what you just said is surprising to me.
It was hilarious to watch in real time. When I'm not writing about the game, I sometimes lose my mind. I'm not being analytical. I'm just being an asshole and enjoying yelling at the TV. This was that kind of game. It was hilarious to watch.
Oh my gosh. I got to watch a little bit of it. I was at a bar. I've had a couple drinks, and it's just phenomenal to me that I know that once Maxey Kleber, once Josh Green are both ruled out, that I know that our defense is not going to be good enough and that we should just throw the fucking white flag. It is ridiculous, the lack of talent that we have on the team. And to pose the question, I'm at the point where, yes, of course, a true number 2 superstar would be great. But if you look at the options that we have come 2023, come 2024, it doesn't appear that anything's actually likely. Brandon Ingram, Jaylen Brown, I don't see any reason why they're going to leave. So at this point, I'm fine with just upgrading the rest of the talent on the roster because I'm tired of watching Tim Hardaway Jr. dribble off his fucking foot.
Sure.
Like, I'm tired of watching guys just brick wide open threes. So anything that can help Luka to get, like, I'm all for it at this point.
Oh man, it's tough. Well, thanks for joining. I'm sorry you missed I guess I'm not really that sorry that you missed the game because you missed a loss. So what are you gonna do?
Right. Yeah. This, like I said, this is the one time I've actually missed. So I'm fine missing this one, but I'll be back for all the others. But thanks for having me up here.
Well, all right. Hope to see you again soon. All right, let's go next to my man. Oh, Tyler. Also been a while since Tyler's been in here. What's going on, guy? Give him a second to figure it out. Tyler, you there? Come on, unmute.
Oh,
Hit the unmute
there
button,
it goes.
friendo.
Good to see this thing still works.
What's up, man?
Oh, well, I just had one question. I saw your tweet about not being in on the Christian Wood experience. I need a reference point. Where does the Christian Wood thing fall on the KP scale? To
Nothing. It's less Wood and more the fact that they need him to be better than he is. For every incredible dunk against a kind of bad matchup, he gets stonewalled by somebody like Jared Allen. And it's not that's the kind of defenders you have to get past in the playoffs. And he got worked on 2 straight possessions to end the game after playing a pretty good game, 20 points, 7 rebounds, some great threes. It's not him. It's just the Dallas, this is why I wanted him with Brunson, because him being good is a bonus. And instead they need him to be amazing. And he's just not there. They target him on defense. That's a problem. Even though I was a sassy asshole and tweeted out the fact that they're 0-8 when he plays more than 28 minutes. That's kind of unrelated. He gets hosed in some of those situations. I'm not a moron. It's just that the team he's a reflection of the team as a whole not being good enough for what they need. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. It's just, whenever he has to be your second best player instead of your fourth best player, it kind of throws a stench on things. So sure. I completely understand that.
He's really skilled. It's just he gets he turns the ball over like nobody's business. That was one of the things that really chaps my ass. I got to go find this stat because this one floored me. Let me see. Where was it here? He is 18th in the league in turnovers per 75 possessions.
That's pretty incredible as a big guy.
Yeah, that's hard. Okay. Now, a lot of it is because he commits preposterously called offensive fouls. He can't set a screen to save his life. So it's some of it's situationally unfair, but that's what the numbers are. So.
Yeah, the more things change, the more they stay the same. We just have new KP on our hands.
I mean, I like Wood overall. I just wish that he wasn't the second best player. And
I do too. And I'm not saying it's necessarily his fault. It's just, the circumstances are what they are at this point.
Sure. And I noticed my buddy Ruben in the chat says the kid puts him in unfair situations. I'm sorry. If you're the second best player on the team, there's not a such thing as unfair situations. You need to go out there and dominate.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks. I've got to go get back to my iMessage 8-ball pool game with some guy named Jason.
Later, dude. All right. Coming up next, then, we're going to let my man Ewan go. What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Welcome back.
Yeah, man. The result is what I expected, but it's just the way you get to the end result that is always the issue. So with Luka, it's I've seen a lot of tweets and people posting he pouts and stuff and blah, blah. I get it. He's been carrying the load for us all year. And it's I would probably say 100% of Luka baskets is him creating it on his own. He doesn't get any easy baskets. So it's you have to work that hard to get your own shot. And then when you pass the ball to wide open people, it's nothing but iron, brick. So you're going to get frustrated.
Sure.
I would.
There was one play, I think it was maybe it was a shot clock violation. It was towards the end of the first quarter before Luka got that really awesome and one where he rotates the ball to the top of the key to Dorian. Dorian's wide open. And Dorian just auto-rotates the ball to Christian Wood. And Luka is hand-waving me, shoot the ball. And Dorian is ass above the break, so I kind of get why he doesn't do it. But it's also it's just so funny because it's like one guy becomes on and then someone else turns off. And like that's just the nature of having a team that doesn't have dynamic off the dribble players. It's going to look like this.
Yeah, it's like Reggie Bullock caught his flight off the island, and Dodo's waiting for the plane to come back because he's stuck there right now. And what did I have to say? And like you said, you look at the box score, you see Cavaliers. The whole starting lineup is in double figures.
Well, they're so talented. Like you read that starting lineup, I don't really remember when Lamar Stevens was drafted, but he's he's a guy out of Penn State. He kind of reminded me of like Dorian in a lot of ways. But the rest of their starting lineup is all like blue chippers.
All-star caliber.
Like you have just such good players. Yeah. It's a more. I don't know. I could be overstating it, but it's just that's just the team they built, and that's what happens.
Nah, you're right. And then it's like, and then Frank, like, I mean, I know he gives good energy on defense, but it's like we're not getting stops. But he's out there for defensive purposes, and Mitchell is 9 of 10 in the first half for like 25 points. So it was like it kind of negates this. I
wanted to text Skin this because Skin was on the call today. I am pretty sure that at the moment, I don't have access to this data right now, but I saw something like around 10 to 12 game mark that Donovan Mitchell is shooting threes off the bounce and hitting them at a higher clip than Steph Curry. Like a 47% 3-point shooter off the dribble. And he showed that again tonight. Like that was the stuff that he didn't have against us in the playoffs where he did that in the 2 previous playoffs and it like just really shot up his value and it seems he just goes through these hot and cold stretches. But when you got like guys like that you're either passing to because, I think we've seen that how like much Rudy Gobert actually sucks at offense compared to the guys he's passing to now. It's fun watching a guy like that cook. I really grew to hate him with the Jazz, but watching him play with the Cavs was fun.
Yeah, and it seemed like, you have less stuff to worry about playing on this Cavs team. You just got to really focus on going out there and getting buckets. And, you don't got to worry about nothing else like that. And, the bigs on this team can finish. But lastly, I've always said Tim Hardaway on a fast break is like a recipe for disaster. And this is just another one tonight. And then that pass to Dorian, and Dorian tried to go behind the back for the last shot. And he didn't even get it off. I'm like, oh, my God. Like, these two guys are just... It's bad. I agree with the last person. Like, I know you can't sit and wait for a second star to emerge because you don't know technically who that person is going to be. Is like you got to start moving the assets and actually try to make a good, solid team. And if Luka have solid players around him, like, you don't got to be telling them, like, yo, shoot the ball. You got to be here. Competent players that don't have to depend on Luka to tell them where to be and what to do. Then I'm pretty sure Luka won't have to play the whole second half without having any time off. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah, I do.
Hopefully we go that. Hopefully we go that route. I'm not too pressed on the second star. We need to get the team better because we can't keep going through this and seeing this game after game after game after game. It's too much.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out, man. We'll talk soon. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Still got a number of folks want to come through. This is great. You guys are madder than me. Brian, what's up, my guy?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
It's going. Welcome back.
Welcome.
So what are you thinking tonight?
Well, I would like for this team to stop giving dog shit efforts all the time. It seems like repetitive at this point, but I guess that's what 500 teams do. Like, and I don't know why this just blew my mind, and I don't know why it's taken me this long to realize Josh Green is the best defensive player on this team right now, which is. That is some trouble, pal. If Josh Green has got his bad wing right now on his elbow and he's out and your team is not going to play any type of defense, like I understand like they rode Dorian and Reggie to the ground, but it's like everybody's in cement shoes. I don't I'm not Iztok. Iztok would be somebody I would love to have a conversation with to like really understand defensively, like what the holy hell is going on, because it's not like they made these drastic changes. Yeah, they're trying to integrate Wood in there, but you have all the same parts. So it's not like you're doing this seismic shift of trying to play this like Phil Jackson triangle defense. Like you have the same people there except Igor left, but for the most part, Igor It sounds like Igor was more like on the offensive side anyway. So you still got Sweeney. It's like the effort absolutely is dog shit.
Well, they're the second best defense in the league coming off of make.
That's
just so funny. It's and that like it's kind of an incredible stat. And I don't know, that's where the effort was really bad in the first quarter and in the first half with Luka looking a bit like ass, just to be quite honest.
I don't want to put the shovel to this kid. And
no, it's fine because it's like he's a young man. He's still 23. Leadership is going to be something he figures out over time. He got it together in the second half and really was amazing. It's coming ready to play and not letting the first thing throw you off. Like he got fouled by Lamar Stevens pretty early and it wasn't called. And that seemed to affect how he approached the game. He let it affect teammate stuff. Again, I'm playing armchair, psychologist, which is not probably not a good idea, but it's just we all saw it. The body language was bad. And that sort of stuff, he's gotta know that that's infectious to his teammates.
Right. And and obviously there's been games he's gotten clobbered and he has a right to get pissy, but I don't think the officiating, the Mavericks got a lot of good calls in this game. So that's why it kind of blows my mind. And there was those screenshots I'm sure everybody's seen by now where he was kind of just walking away and it's like, ooh, I really, really don't like that. And to a degree, I understand, if he's maybe mad at the Mavericks situation, like I completely get that, but his like continued like effort to be pouty and pissy when he doesn't make a shot and then he's like giving up a fast break and then Mitchell is like that's that you mentioned about the Mavericks making like how like what they're like rated on defense is like crazy, but like it's consistent. That's like you talking to your son when he's playing YMC basketball, because I'm sure you're going to be like, Parker, you can't do that when you got to get back on defense. He's just like sitting there and it's like you can't do that because when he's vibing, because when he's out there trying, that's a carryover effect. Like, it really sucks that his overall effort will be a pendulum swing on this team, but it kind of is. And that is a shitty responsibility to, like, give him because he already has to play 40 minutes a night anyway, and he has to, like, try on defense. Like, so, like, what the hell? So I understand armchair.
I like that Luka played 39 minutes tonight just because Kid wouldn't use it to get him out of the game. Like, what Kid does is I mean, maybe there's something I don't understand. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's not, but it's funny.
Oh, how many minutes did we get from McGee tonight?
I mean, they used all their timeouts before the fourth quarter, but one.
It's just hilarious because, like, in theory, McGee would have gotten cooked, but at least, like, wouldn't you like?
No, I wouldn't. No, seeing him get cooked is a reminder that he's there. Like, I don't think about him when he's not in the game.
So they're secretly trying to like pretend he doesn't exist. Like this wasn't the worst offseason signing in Mavericks history. Sorry, I'm the Joker right now, but I'll hop down, buddy. Have a safe drive.
All right, thanks, man. Talk soon. Okay, we still got plenty of folks to come through, so let's keep cooking here. Let's go with Brett. What's up, Brett?
Hey, Kirk. So I'm going to bring up something that I'm not sure if some people in the chat have brought up, but no one's talked about yet. But what do you think about Kid's decision to not start Dorian in the second half? Not really for this game's sake, because I think it probably was the smart tactical decision, but more for what it means for Dorian's future with the Mavericks and his role.
I saw it, but I didn't really know what to think of it. The tactical stuff is particularly when I'm not writing is honestly not, because I take more notes when I'm covering a specific game. I don't really know what to think of it. Do you have any particular opinion?
No, I mean, I think it shows that like what we've all kind of seen, which is that Dorian looks like a step off this season. He looks like a step slower on defense. And his shooting has been worse. But for kids, like Kid isn't a coach who does that regularly. He doesn't change lineups much.
Right.
And so the only time really he's done that this season, he's done it a few times with Wood in place of Powell. But that's clearly an example of just, playing the more talented player. But this seemed kind of pretty odd for me. And Dorian didn't play much in the fourth as well, because they really went with. I mean, they only played 6 guys in the second half, which this is the kind of, like, I get it wanting to do it as a coach. Like, I get why you do that for the individual game or to, like, prove a point, but it is bad coaching. It is not good. Like, it is like amateur-hour college bullshit.
They have 4 games this week. They play Monday, so today. They play Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I agree with you. Guys, I think Kidd's terrible. I just can't sit here and say it all the time because no one wants to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, like I think this is like a different thing, and it's like the fake tough coach mentality, and it's what you do when it's what you think a good coach would do. It's like when you don't know what you're doing, but you think like a coach in a movie would do this.
Well, it's Tom Thibodeau is what it is. And look what that guy's done. All he does is grind people to dust.
I mean, and it looks to someone who doesn't know what they're watching. It looks like, oh, he's really making a point. He's really like playing the guys, that are playing well. But like guys can't play 40 minutes a night.
Nope.
Like it doesn't work. It barely works in the playoffs, and it definitely doesn't work in the regular season.
Yeah. Well, and that's where there's just a lot of built-in excuses for him. And I tend to actually agree with him until I remember that he wanted both. He wanted like JaVale McGee, like their only means of improving the team. They got a guy that he wanted, and then he decided he was out on him in 8 games. I mean, he is running the playbook that he ran with the Bucks. The question is, and I mean this now, they're 14-14. If we're still looking at a 500 team at the 40 game mark, I don't think anything's going to change. Like, Kidd is here. Kidd's not going anywhere. And I wonder how long it's going to take them to kind of come to the conclusion that this entire mixture, whether it's players or coaches, players and coaches, just like they outperformed last year. And instead of improving, they took a step back. And so what does that mean for this team's future? Because like right now, I get like early vibes of 2013, 2012, when the Mavericks were basically slowly getting drug out by the tide because none of the free agency decisions worked for the Dallas Mavericks. And then by 2016, there was nothing in the cupboard. I mean, it was awful. Like I've watched this team since 2001 regularly. Like it's just been such a wild dichotomy of what happened the first 10 years of Cuban's ownership and the next 10-ish years. So
yeah, I mean, it feels like they are getting closer to the the Wizards Kings zone of on that treadmill of mediocrity.
Yeah, which and everybody's kind of like another built-in excuse they have is that everybody kind of sucks, and they're right. But when you have a top 5 player in basketball, that's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be the Cavaliers. Like, Luke is not going to leave somewhere and then come back. He's not like you're not going to get lucky in that way. Like it's the number of teams that have screwed up a player of Luka's caliber's first however many years and then gone on to win a championship with that player is, I mean, can't think of a case. Like, yeah. I mean, you can think, I mean, kind of analogous would be Milwaukee, but I mean, and I think that's the best case scenario for what happens with the Mavs over the next 2 years is that they go that route and they hit on like a trade or two.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think they still could. I just know it's explaining to the first caller, Brandon, where he asked, well, shouldn't they do something now? And I'm seeing a whole bunch of that. And a 2024 pick is not valuable. They're not getting anything for a 2024 pick. I just don't understand that. So.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like some luck will be involved if any, like, if anything good happens roster wise over the next couple of years. But I mean, I think that's what happens for most teams. Most teams don't build a team like the Warriors or whatever, where you have, build that many homegrown players, like, but that's part of it. And so it's hard to be like hope.
Yeah. Well, we'll end on that delightful note. Brett, you got anything else?
Nope, thanks.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.
All right. Next caller. Got 5 more people, and then we'll see where we go. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Nice.
Hey,
how's it going?
Welcome. What you thinking tonight?
I just kind of want to speak on the Luka pouting thing. I just last season we started off pretty bad, or around 500 around this point, but like there's COVID and injuries and all this shit. And then a lot of talk throughout the season and the off season that Luka just had to come in shape. And he essentially held up his end of the bargain. He came in, played like an MVP, and like, we're still barely like eking out wins, and we're about to be under 500 maybe. And like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of that frustration is just like he's held up his end of the bargain in terms of coming in, making the leap to like a top 3 player, playing like an MVP, and like, the front office lost our second best player. And it's just like, I don't know, I kind of feel him because he knows like this is not a developing team. There's nobody that's going to like improve their game because, our
right.
core is 30.
Because it's the same fight. A number of the guys were on the team when he was a rookie. So it just sort of, to me, it's fairly obvious where it's, a lot of these guys have reached the end of like their development up cycle. Like I'm pretty sure Reggie's 32, Dorian's 30. Like these guys aren't making market improvements. It's got to be frustrating if you're Luka.
Agreed. That's all I got to say. So I'm going to get out of here and go to sleep, I guess.
Well, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you.
Yep.
All right. If anybody hears a little bit of background noise on my end, I apologize. I will mute myself as often as I can. I have a monitor here in my room. Got to watch my son for a second, and so if all of a sudden everything goes into dead air, that will be why. All right, Simon, welcome.
Hey, Kirk. Hey, say what you want about Kidd, but at least the last couple of games, he's reminded the world that we still have Frank. That's not a bad joke, but anyway.
I don't have a problem with Frank. I will never, that Cuban quote that he gave to Dalton Trigg this summer, I'm never going to forget.
Wasn't that Nico?
Yeah, no, it was Cuban.
It was Cuban. Okay.
Nico said it too, but Cuban said it first.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, look, Frank is not an NBA basketball player. Just like it's got to stop. Shelve him. I mean, we're 28 games into this season. I think everybody that's watched even most of the Mavs games up to this point, they see what this team is. Like there's nothing surprising about what happened tonight, about the result, about what led to the result. At this point, they're a team that is reliant upon Luka going nuclear and 3-point shooting variance. So on a night when Luka gets 35 points and 12 assists and they shoot 43% from 3 on 50 attempts, okay, they look like a good team. But if that's not happening, there is no plan B. There's nothing else.
That's right.
The way I see this team, I mean, the ceiling for this team this year is a first-round exit. And the floor is missing the play-in tournament. The likely outcome is they're in the play-in tournament, and then it's a game or two. Who knows? Maybe they can escape. They can get into the real playoffs, but they're not winning a playoff series this year. I resign myself to that fact. I mean, last year when they started slow, we had this notion that, okay, once Luka kicks things into gear and KP gets healthy, but this is, before KP got traded. And it's funny to think back on that now, because maybe your perspective on this is different than mine. The KP quote unquote failed experiment really to me was more about injury than anything else, because I live in the DC area, so I watch a lot of Wizards games, and he's he is playing best basketball of his career. I mean, he's playing like an all-star, and he's playing like the guy that the Mavericks envisioned when they traded for him, and that he showed flashes of in the bubble before he ended up getting hurt. And obviously you and I have kind of talked about the Brunson situation, and we can go back and rehash the what ifs and whatnot. But I want to move on to Luka specifically. Sure. So Tim Cato's kind of done a really good job of documenting this, which is like, Luka's second season, he comes in in shape. He has a full off season. He starts off the season attacking the rim like a bandit. He's putting up insane numbers, right? And then he kind of wears down a little bit over the course of that season before the COVID hiatus, and then the bubble. He comes back.
He had a really bad ankle sprain. He sprained it a minute into the Miami game.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that.
They weren't the same till the bubble after that. The whole team. Then KP was nuts.
Exactly. And then the previous two seasons, right, he kind of comes in not in great shape, but then kind of kicks it into high gear midway through the season, heads into the playoffs playing his best ball. This year, right, he comes in the first 9 or 10 games, he looks like that version of 2019-20 Luka, except turned up another notch. I remember specifically watching, I think it was the Memphis game early this year. I think it was the second game of the year.
Yeah, they blew Memphis out. Great, real fun.
Out specifically, I mean, he got to the basket every single time he had the ball. Didn't matter who was on him. He's driving confidently. He's finishing at the rim, but he's just attacking hard. And it's like he just will not be stopped getting to the rim. When I watch him play tonight, I don't know if he's physically tired, mentally tired, or a little bit of both. Because 25 games of him playing with the load that he has got to be wearing on him. To me, it honestly looks more mental than physical, because there were times tonight, especially in the first half, where he would get a step on guys, or there was one play where he split the defense, and when he gets into the paint, he looks like he's worried about getting a shot blocked, but he's not attacking confidently.
Well, this was one team where I don't necessarily blame him. Like Allen and Mobley.
Allen and Mobley
is a fucking alien.
Mobley. I mean, he's very mobile, and he can. I mean, even though Luka got him a couple times in the second half, he got an and one on him. But that's what I'm saying is when he's attacking confidently, he'll eventually kind of figure it out. The good thing is he's starting to make his free throws. In the last couple of games, he's turning that around, which I hope that continues, because that's the thing that for whatever reason rankles me.
Yeah, I understand.
Because you can tell it gets in his head too.
The physicality I do think starts to wear on him after a while, because he goes down to the ground sometimes, I think, fishing for calls. And honestly, he's got to stop that. He's got to stop that, because the number of times he's not getting touched. Because I have a tendency to rewind and go look. And it's like, dude, stop going to the ground.
He goes to the ground. He goes to the ground. He misses the shot. He stays there. And
if he makes it, it's like then he has to hustle back. And it's just like, damn it, like stop that. You're too big.
It's transition. But I mean, the rest of the rotation on this team, everybody is clearly overtaxed. I mean, Dorian on a decent team is a fourth wing, a third wing at best. He's not a starter that's playing 35 minutes. Reggie Bullock, I'm sorry. I don't see what his discernible NBA skill is. Like,
my man hit 3-point shots tonight.
But that's he did. But I mean, he tries hard on defense. There's nothing wrong with him. It's nothing wrong with anybody on this team. It's just like they're all overtaxed. Reggie Bullock, I mean, he can play. He plays hard on defense, but a good offensive player like a Mitchell or a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will figure him out in 2 or 3 possessions. It's just it just makes mincemeat of him.
I mean, right now, like, he was better on D last year, but he still looks a bit tough. But I understand why you're frustrated. I mean, everybody's pretty frustrated.
But we watch and we're like, okay, maybe something different, and then 5 minutes in, we're like, nope, no, it's not happening. At this point, I still tune in because I love watching Luka play, and on any given night he can do. Remember that the pass he had, I think it was the end of the first quarter or the end of the second quarter, the behind the back that he threw to Hardaway in the corner. I mean, that's really the main reason to keep watching.
Oh, it's nuts. Yeah, I know which pass you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me in. Appreciate it.
Okay, Rain, how we doing? Give Rain a second there to hit the unmute button.
Yeah, just had to come back to the app. Not bad. I almost don't even want to talk about this game. I'm a bit over the gameplay at this point. Let's talk some roster construction because number one roster move I think we should make is a buyout. We should buy out Jason Kidd's contract and sign free agent.
I suggested that the Mavs and Hawks swap coaches.
I'll take that trade. In fact, I might even give up a first-round pick for it. I think, okay. I am higher on Christian Wood than most people, but I think at this point he seems to have lost a little bit of aggression that he had earlier on in this season. I wonder if part of that has to do with being so worried about making the wrong move and being cut from the rotation entirely. But then he also commits a lot of just really, I don't know if he specifically commits them or he gets called differently on them, where if he flares his elbows out a little bit too much, and all of a sudden it's an offensive foul, but if it was someone like, say, an Embiid or a Giannis, that's a defensive foul.
I think there's there was a preseason game. I still remember this because it was like, oh shit, the Mavericks are going to draw a ton of fouls, where Wood drew like 4 fouls posting up, just back to the basket, like not even getting the ball. It was preseason. And I was like, oh, they're going to be amazing. And now I'm seeing him getting called for these fouls, doing the same thing. And I don't entirely understand that.
Yeah, so on top of that, we have one, by my count, one true pick and roll action between Christian Wood and Luka.
This game
went pretty well. This game, yes, this game. But he's not, and I never thought he should be our number 2. If we had Brunson, and Brunson could be our 2, and Wood be the 3 in terms of scoring options, or Wood even being maybe the second scoring option, but working off of shots created for him by Brunson. That was really exciting, and then we lose Brunson, and here we are now. We've got Tim Hardaway Jr. putting up, is it 3 points on however many shots and however many turnovers? At this point, we just have to change something, and I'm also coming to the point where I see that he needs to be paired with someone, a big, who's also defensively minded, or a good rim protector, who we don't have really on the roster at the moment, especially when Maxi's out. There's just no one to pair with him. And of course, we don't have the assets to pick up someone like a Turner or a Podol or Pirtle. In my ideal scenario, we could slide Reggie back in because, hey, he hit some shots again. His defense has taken a step back, but it's still light years ahead of what THJ can do at the moment. We would have a true secondary playmaker next to Luka. We could have Wood at the 4. We could have some hypothetical rim protecting stretch 5, like a Miles Turner at the 5, and then we can play DFS or Reggie or whoever is the next best defender on the team at that point in the lineup. But these are just pipe dreams, because how are we going to acquire these guys? And I see other people asking for trades for Zach LaVine. I'm like, Zach LaVine is quite clearly taking a step back. He's quite clearly injury prone and on a long, expensive contract, which just seems like KP 2.0 if that's the roster move that they're going to dump all their picks into the future for. I just don't know what they can do. I'd love to know what you think they can do.
I don't think they can do anything. this was my fear by July 15th of the summer. And I have a very well-earned reputation for being incredibly negative about this team. Probably some of it me being unfair, but largely I don't think I've been wrong. I mean, Nick is in the chat sort of breaking down the fact that it's true. The fact that the Mavericks, like when the year before Luka was drafted, the cupboard for the Mavericks was bare. They signed in 2016, they signed Harrison Barnes, and no one else would take their money. It was awful. And they had just a dead roster of guys that were just not like they're overpaying everybody on the roster. It was maddening. And the Warriors are kind of the other opposite outlier of this, where it's just you have to be good at team. Like you have to build a team for both the long and the short run. And they did so much to try to maximize Dirk's window. And I understand why. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying this is kind of the end result. Where when those things didn't pan out, you just kind of end up with a team that doesn't have any assets whatsoever. And what's crazy to me is they did all this stuff in 2019 for Maxey, for Dorian, there's Seth Curry and KP, where one of their plans was to make a pitch for Giannis. That was what they were building towards. And instead of moving on from anybody, Dorian, Maxey, whoever, they let Brunson walk for free and have not yet traded Maxey or Dorian, who are both still on reasonable contracts, but it feels like you're starting to see elements, and granted, this could change. The players could figure it out, but it feels a little bit like a banana left on the countertop too long.
Honestly,
What's that? You hit mute. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, so I did hit mute. Okay, so I know we can't trade 2024, we can't trade 2025. At our disposal, we have 2027, 2029, and then pick swaps for, 26, 28?
It depends. It's problematic is the point.
Yeah, and we have no cap space. Yes. And, we're going to have big cap space in 24, 25?
Yeah.
When everybody has a shit ton of cap space.
Sure.
So, I understand that we're up shit creek without a paddle in terms of ability to make moves. And I have probably like a lot of people in chat being of the opinion that we should save the picks and make one big splash move. Get yourself a Donovan Mitchell or some kind of big move like that.
Right.
But I don't think that's going to fix the if we still can't shoot threes. If we're going to be honest, it's probably going to be most of what we see now, except the second guy is going to be able to do a little bit more than what Spencer can do. It's not probably going to be a massive upgrade. It's going to be he can hit some more threes, he can do a little bit more self-creation, he can shoot a little bit more efficiently.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a night and day difference, I don't think. So maybe we should just say, fuck it, trade for Turner, and just try and make the roster semi-decent, and just see what he can do with that, because I don't think the big trade is coming. We can constantly be outbid by other people, and if we could genuinely get someone who could rim protect, we could slide Wood down to a 4. Hopefully, honestly, I'm almost at the point where you just play whoever between Reggie or Green at the 2, and just let Luka run the offense as he is now, because Spencer's there for a possession or two when Luka wants to take 5 seconds of rest. Just say screw it, and then let him sit out a couple more possessions, or just take him out of the game.
Yeah.
And then just play someone who can hit defense, and then just truly go 5 out shooters who can all defend, and just play as much defense, and then maybe Wood also might be viable in the starting lineup then for his offense, and he's less of a liability on the defense with a strong rim protector. But
I understand why you want to try that. I do understand why you'd want to try that. When I say that I think they need to get their house in order, I'm less thinking about it in terms of a mega trade and much more thinking about it in terms of right now it feels like they have very set, limited, linear, short-term paths to improvement. Whereas if they get all their assets in order, i.e. they get out from underneath the New York pick, then I think they could actually do more than one thing. Where right now it feels like their solutions are putting it's that meme where the guy's slapping duct tape on the big tub that's draining with water. I don't know. This is all very frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, no, flex tape can't fix this. But I agree. If we're gonna do this, it shouldn't be this season. It should be in the off season when we have more picks to use to build and bring in more valuable players. That cannot happen this season.
Yep.
It is what it is, I guess. And we're gonna be saying this until March?
Yep, I think that's right. Well, thanks for joining.
All right, we'll see you.
Talk soon. All right, let's keep going here. Micah, how you doing, Micah? What's up? Give Micah a second to find the mute.
Yeah, I got it. Kirk, how you doing?
I'm okay. Got to leave my house in approximately 5 hours, so I should go to bed soon.
I mean, it's sure tiring watching this team, but
Sure. No, I'll get up and angrily listen to podcasts at 4:30 in the morning as I'm driving to College Station. So that should be fun.
right.
So what do you think?
They're all saying, I mean, man, I watched this whole day. You know what? I got to challenge something you said one time. You once said that LeBron is the worst GM. Look, I got to tell you, KD and Kyrie are giving that man a run for his money.
That's a fair argument.
Because when they decided that DeAndre Jordan should be starting over Jarrett Allen, that takes the cake.
Allen's a dude.
Yeah, he's a dude. And that's just, I don't think we should be looking for the big trade because, like you're saying, nobody wants these guys. Help is not coming. If we do anything, it's just a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. Until you're getting out from underneath these albatross contracts, then you're not going anywhere. And, I don't think they should be trying to make the panic move. They need to be making smaller moves here because these guys are out there. I understand team building is hard, but moves are out there to make you better. And if you just look at certain situations, and you never know what a guy could turn into in a different system. Did anybody think Brook Lopez is going to look like he does in Milwaukee right now when he is in Brooklyn?
Well, I mean, he's a fascinating basketball player. But you're right. There's something to that.
So it's just I feel like you have to look for and you got to focus on the draft because if you hit on a draft pick, you can attach him to somebody that's stinky and actually get a player, because we got way too many albatross guys that nobody wants. It's just people always say, well, why don't they trade for this guy? This guy wanted to come to Dallas, but why couldn't they make that trade? Because nobody wants those guys. If all these people that want to lie to themselves about this roster construction, they need to ask themselves, are they looking at the reports and when we tried to trade for a player that they were pushing out the door and they said, no, this guy that we no longer want on our team, we still don't want to take anybody that you got. That should scream that there's issues with your roster. If somebody's not trying to take your players for their trash, then that's a problem. And it just speaks to the overall construction of the team.
Yeah,
I just feel like we need to make the ancillary trades and like smaller and focus on draft and actually build.
Well, and that would have to come with like another team that's also sucking, like a pair of teams like looking to rearrange to try to make a run at it. I'm not good at this kind of stuff.
Right. And I mean, they should look around the league. It's not just us. Like that's like you should see. Like if you look at all these other teams that got a superstar and a dude and just a bunch of guys, they're terrible. Phoenix, they're terrible. Golden State, they're terrible. And it's not just us. So it's just like the league is trying to tell you that a superstar and a bunch of just guys that are role players is not winning jack. Like, so, I don't know.
I understand, man. But that's why we do these, to vent, because we don't get any say anyways. Thanks for hanging out, Micah.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
All right, talk soon. Okay, last but not least, David. David, what you thinking, friend? Welcome back.
Hey, Kirk. I just got back from the game, so just dialing in. Can you hear me okay?
I can. You sound good. How was the atmosphere live tonight?
You sound good. How was the atmosphere live tonight? Live, depressing. There were two kids in the back row chanting MVP every time Luka touched the ball. After about 5 minutes, like the rest of the crowd stopped doing that. So it was just 2 8-year-olds doing that. So that was fun. Yeah, I was like, guys, not tonight. Not tonight. Yeah, just cool it. They look like hammered, refried shit. The starting lineup tonight just did not look like they wanted to be there. They were punching in on a Monday morning. I mean, it was like they needed their coffee or whatever, something to get them going. And then the first play of the game, Darius Garland hits that 3 and does a little fist pump to himself. And just you would see his face like, yeah, fuck yeah, like it's on. And I already had called to my friend that was with me. I was like, this is the Donovan Mitchell revenge game. So here we go. Buckle up. We're about to get like, this is going to be tough if we don't pick it up real quick. And we didn't. And sure enough, it was an ass whooping from start to finish. So tonight was of all the heartbreaking losses, tonight just felt like for the first time all year, we saw them face a top team and did not show up. Personally, I think the Cavs are my dark horse out of the East. Like, the Bucks and the Celtics are 1 and 2, obviously, but like anyone underestimating this Cavs team is an idiot. Like they are so talented. And we just did not show up against one of the elite teams in the league. And I was shocked by the lack of energy and passion. And Luka looked like he had just woken up. Like that was pathetic. Even Reggie Bullock started hitting threes and we still couldn't generate any offense. I was like, this is bad. So that was the live atmosphere tonight.
Well, thanks for joining us once again. You got anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I have a hot take that last year was a fluke. I wasn't ready to admit it, but last year was a fluke. We should have never, realistically, we shouldn't have beaten Phoenix. And honestly, we faced a Jazz team that was crippled. 2 years ago, when we lost to the Clippers in the first round, that was a hell of a series, and that was throwing everything we had at a better team, and we just hit peak Kawhi Leonard, who's a savant. So I think that team was better than last year's team in so many ways. Rick just didn't have an answer for a much more talented team, and yeah, that's where I'm at. I think you're right. I think Kid's a fucking waste. I watched multiple timeouts where he's just sitting there like an evil comic book villain on the bench tonight. You can't see it from the TV, right? But like they'll zoom in on timeouts after he stands up. But so many times it's the assistant coaches talking to Luke. It's the assistant coaches talking to Wood. I don't know what the hell he's doing during games. I honestly don't. Like, besides just sitting there checking his phone. I don't know what he does.
Well, thanks for joining, David.
Yeah, there's my hot take. Thanks, Kirk.
All right, have a good one. Part of why we're getting some feedback on your end, so I was letting it come through before I would talk. It was a bit like we were talking through a wall, but I'm glad you could hear me, and I'm glad you got that take off because I do understand it. I mean, to a certain degree, every time you go to the Western Conference Finals, there's luck involved. Fluke is tough for me because I think that team was built just so, and I'm glad that it worked. I think that the front office understood. I waffle on whether they understood why they got that far, but then they doubled down on an element of specifically why we got beat by the Warriors, and it just hasn't worked out so far. I don't know, guys. This just might be the way this goes. I want to do these most times because I'd much rather talk with you guys than spend time on Twitter arguing with people, which I honestly was doing in game tonight because people were not very happy with my Christian Wood takes, and it's like, Twitter's not exactly a place for nuance, but this just stinks because, Luke is very good and I don't really see what they can do. I mean, maybe they do make a panic trade. I have no idea. Well, thanks for hanging out, folks. We will talk here I guess today is Wednesday. We'll talk here Friday night after they play the Portland Trailblazers. That ought to be a real fun game because Dame is on a heater. And I think Luka likes playing Dame. So be ready to join us after the game. Thanks so much. Everyone have a great night. Talk soon.